Even the most loyal can cross a line. Even those closest to power can do something they shouldn't. Even angels can reveal things they were never meant to share. There is one angel said to stand closer to God than the others. One who knows what only God knows. The secrets of God. And he gave humanity knowledge that was never meant to leave heaven. This is his story. If you too reveal things you were never meant to, check out Pantheon, our brand inspired by myths, legends and folklore. We ship worldwide and are rated excellent on Trustpilot. Link in the description. Raziel. His name comes from Hebrew and is commonly translated as secret of God or mystery of God, which reflects the role he occupies within religious thought. Unlike figures such as Michael or Gabriel, Raziel, his presence becomes more defined in later Jewish writings, particularly within mystical and interpretive traditions that attempt to describe the unseen structure of heaven and the hierarchy of beings surrounding God. They treat the heavenly world as ordered and layered, with angels occupying different ranks, responsibilities and degrees of closeness to the divine. Raziel is associated with proximity. He's described as standing near God, close to what religious language sometimes calls the heavenly throne. In ancient thinking, closeness to God reflects awareness, authority, exposure to knowledge. The nearer a being stands to him, the more it encounters truths that remain hidden from others. Which is what makes Raziel unusual. Many figures are defined by function. Messengers deliver announcements, warriors confront enemies, agents of judgment carry out commands. The roles involve action within the world. Raziel's role is different. He is connected to knowledge. Descriptions portray him as receiving secrets, preserving them, and understanding truths that remain concealed from both humanity and other angels. Some writings connect him with the transmission of divine knowledge, presenting him as a figure who receives wisdom from heaven and passes it onward. Others, particularly within Jewish mysticism, emphasize his association with hidden knowledge, portraying him as a guardian of secrets held close to God. Across these variations, the central idea remains consistent. Raziel possesses information that does not belong to the wider world. This is an important distinction because knowledge is never neutral. Knowledge, especially the sacred, carries authority. It shapes belief, behavior, and understanding of humanity's relationship with God. A being entrusted with secrets occupies a position of influence, even without direct action. The closer a figure stands to power, the more significant the consequences when boundaries are crossed. Which is what makes Raziel's story so different from that of other angels. His defining trait isn't strength, it's knowledge. And as we know, knowledge has consequences. In Genesis, Adam and Eve are expelled from the garden and the world changes overnight. Eden represents a condition, life close to God. There's no fear or struggle to survive. But outside the garden, these conditions disappear. Work becomes necessary. Pain becomes part of life. Death becomes unavoidable. Human beings begin living with limits to how long they live and also in what they understand. Writers and interpreters of Genesis spend a lot of time thinking about what that moment would have felt like. Adam is standing in a world he doesn't fully recognize. Seasons change, hunger appears, illness becomes possible, night falls, and the darkness brings fear. The story becomes less about punishment and more about what it means to be human, alive in a world that demands answers while offering very few. This is where Raziel takes the stage. Out of mercy, Raziel gives Adam a book, heavenly knowledge delivered in written form, something Adam can hold, something that can be preserved, a book connected to heaven, something that carries understanding humanity didn't previously possess and never should have. That moment changes everything, because Eden established a boundary. Humanity lives outside. Humanity lives with partial understanding. Humanity survives without the full truth, and Raziel's appearance disrupts it. And once you see it that way, the questions start to multiply. If humans were meant to live with limitation, why move knowledge back across the line? If exile was meant to separate humanity from what belonged to heaven, why allow a message of secrets to approach the first human at his most vulnerable point? And if Raziel gave Adam something that could survive, be passed on, and be used, God wouldn't allow that. Would he? So, we have a book. Sefer Raziel ha-Malach. The Book of Raziel the Angel. The idea is simple on the surface but enormous in implication. A human being receives knowledge that had previously belonged to the divine, and that knowledge becomes something that can be written down, preserved and passed forward. Within the book, certain themes appear repeatedly. Insight into creation, the natural world, and the hidden relationships between events. Some sections focus on astronomy and the movement of celestial bodies. Others include names associated with divine authority. There are references to protection, healing, and spiritual understanding. Later, the book is even treated as containing instructions for invoking angels for protection. The text emerges in medieval Europe, probably compiled from the 13th century from earlier Jewish material. It's not a single authored work, but a collection, built over time, drawing from older sources that were already circulating in religious communities. By the early modern period, printed editions helped spread its reputation across Europe. Copies appeared in both Jewish and Christian contexts, and the book became associated with protection, names, and hidden wisdom. That historical development matters because it shows how the idea of Raziel evolves. The story of an angel giving knowledge to Adam becomes attached to an actual text people can hold, a legend in physical form. The moment the book entered Adam's hands, a wave of indignation swept through the heavenly host. To the angels it was an affront to the holy order. Raziel and Raziel looked down at the earth and saw a creature made of dust and clay holding the very mysteries they were sworn to guard. Their protest was rooted in a fundamental belief that humanity was unworthy. They argued that Adam, having already proven his weakness by eating from the tree of knowledge, could not be trusted with the deeper mysteries of creation. They feared that the secrets of the heavens would be dragged into the dirt used for earthly desires and stripped of their sanctity. They descended to the earth to disarm Adam. They seized the book from his hands, tearing the wisdom away from the man who was desperately trying to use it to understand his new harsh reality. In that act of finality, they cast the book into the depths of the sea, placing it in the custody of Rahab, the guardian of the deep. They wanted it extinguished. By drowning the secrets in the dark, silent pressure of the ocean, they intended to restore the boundary that Raziel had dared to cross. They wanted to ensure that the secrets of God remained exactly where they belonged, far from the reach of human hands. But the book returns. It is recovered from the depths and placed back into human hands. And in that moment, the attempt to correct Raziel's act has failed. The knowledge has already crossed the threshold. It now exists in a world that was never designed to hold it. And it doesn't stop with Adam. The book begins its long journey through human history. It becomes a shadow travelling alongside our species, passed from hand to hand, hidden in the dark and preserved even as empires fall. It survives the literal destruction of the world, carried by Noah through the deluge, ensuring that the secrets of God endure through the very catastrophes meant to cleanse the earth. Humanity now carries a fragment of the divine that was never intended for them, a fact that can never be reversed. We are in possession of a gift that creation believes we should never have seen. The book is a permanent breach. There is no account of Raziel's punishment, No story of him being cast out, no record of him losing his rank. The angel who gave humanity forbidden knowledge remains exactly where he was before, close to the presence of God. The silence is somewhat unsettling. If Raziel crossed a boundary, nothing in the story suggests he was stopped. The book was taken, it was thrown into the sea. Heaven tried to undo what had happened, but Raziel remains. Which raises a deeper possibility. Maybe the silence wasn't directed at the angel. Maybe it was directed at the knowledge. After the book enters the human world, Raziel fades from the story. He returns to the background, the figure near the throne who hears everything and says nothing. The messenger disappears, but the message remains. We have the book, we have the secrets, but the one who revealed them is no longer speaking. The silencing of Raziel is the condition we live in now. We are left alone with knowledge we were never meant to hold, standing in a world we were never meant to fully understand, carrying a gift that heaven tried to drown. Were they trying to protect heaven from humanity? Or humanity from itself?